Jude and I are outside today and we're going to be picking dandelion blossoms so we can make our annual batch of dandelion wine. The trick is to pick dandelion blossoms on a sunny day when the blossoms are wide open. So right now it looks like the perfect time to do that. I just have to make sure I find some that haven't been pooped on by the goats. Hopefully it won't be too hard. So as you can see, these blossoms are ready to be picked. They're nice and open, mature. So you simply just pluck it off. And then you want to try to remove as much of the green stem as possible, because that isn't necessary for making the wine. In fact, it makes it taste not as great. So it takes a bit extra time. Whoops. But you want to try to remove them before you put them in your basket. Another neat trick is to just pull the petals right off the stem instead of plucking off the whole head. You just pull the petals, and as you can see, that minimizes the amount of green stem that comes off. So Jude and I are back in the kitchen after our dandelion foraging adventure, and we're ready to proceed with the first step, or I guess the second step, of making homemade dandelion wine. I didn't get as many dandelions as I thought I would. I only got 6 cups. So I'm going to make 1.5 batches. And so here are all the beautiful petals. And I'm going to put them in my bowl. And I have some boiling water. And I'm going to let this steep overnight. And then I'll show you what we'll do next. The dandelions have been sitting overnight, steeping in the water. And now I'm going to strain it into a pot so that we can bring it to a boil. So you can use cheesecloth, or I also have a nut milk bag, which works really well, and it's reusable. So I'm just going to remove the bag and get all the liquid out of the petals, giving them a little squeeze. Get all the goodness out of the petals, a lot of flavor. Okay, so what we're going to do to this mixture is add the orange zest and the lemon zest, which I've already prepared. Now, I usually actually keep it in whole peels, but I forgot that that's what I was doing, so I'm just going to use the zest anyway. Probably just intensify the flavor a little bit. And then we're going to bring this to a boil on the stove. The next stage in the wild dandelion wine recipe is to strain the boiled citrus peels into your crock once again. So here we go. And into this hot liquid, we are going to pour the wildflower honey. And the heat from the liquid is going to kind of melt the honey and incorporate it into the blend. So we're going to use about 3 pounds. Make sure you get a little bit out. Those bees worked really hard to make this honey. We don't want to waste any of it. So I'm going to add a little more honey and then give it a good stir. And then I'm going to let it sit at room temperature until it's nice and nicely cooled down. And then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. The honey mixture has now been brought down to room temperature. And we're ready to add the lemon and orange juice. And also the wine yeast. You can use champagne or white wine yeast. This one happens to be a champagne yeast. And I used to use the entire package, and then I was speaking to the woman at the wine store yesterday, and she thought that was a lot for the amount of water that we have. So I'm actually just going to use about half a teaspoon. We'll stir that in. And make sure the yeast dissolves. And then I'm going to cover it loosely with this glass lid because it actually lets a little bit of air in. And then let it rest in my hall closet for 2 to 3 weeks, and I stir it every few days. After that 2 to 3 weeks is done, you need to put the wine into a bottle like this and then seal it with a little contraption called an airlock. And this airlock lets the gas out but doesn't let any air in. And that will sit there for a couple weeks, and then you bottle it. And the bottled wine has to age for 6 to 9 months. I usually have a nice glass of my prepared dandelion wine on winter solstice. So it's perfect timing. Make it in the spring and you enjoy it in the winter. And that's about it. So I really hope this has inspired you to try making your own dandelion wine. It's very rewarding and delicious and healthy, I'd say. I mean, out of all the wines you could drink, I think the medicinal benefits of the dandelion, known as an ally to your liver, it might counteract the effects of the alcohol. And it's great because you're making something out of local ingredients right from your own yard. Doesn't get better than that. Bottle your own buzz.